up and running as soon as possible. And of course, with me in studio this morning, I have none other than my co-host, Mr. Roland Tabola. Good morning, Mr. Bola.
Good morning, Miss Duncan. I hope that you have had a very pleasant night rest.
I did. I went to bed at 8 and woke up this morning.
I went to bed and woke up this morning too. I didn't go to bed at 8. It was actually 11:40 something when I looked at the clock when I entered the bedroom. So, I was out in a meeting with my parliamentary rep and several other things that I was then engaged in. However, though, I understanding that you slept well and you woke up this morning, that you're well revived and rejuvenated and re-energized and ready to take on the day.
Yes, I am.
And to do what is best, not just for you, but for the public at large and to get things done. I am very upbeat. It's another wonderful day. It is again a pleasure to be on radio. It has always been and is indeed another pleasure. Well, we can, reach out to people with information and also to give them an opportunity to listen to what they have to say, because from time to time the public wants to give their own impression on things and they want to give their own version of what they understand. Sometimes they are very, very correct and in line with what is happening. Sometimes they are a little off, but be that as it may, it is what they understand, what they hear, and gives us an opportunity to dialogue with them and give correction, or lead them through to or along the right path. Yes. So we are not, as we oftentimes say, the repository of all information and knowledge. But from what we know, we like to share. Absolutely. And for those who don't know as much as we do or as well as we understand it, we'd like to help correct them and give them good information. So welcome knowledge. Again, Impact Knowledge, yes, to Hard Talk. It is a program that I know quite a number of people look forward to. Some of them who sometimes never get an opportunity to call and never get the chance to be answered, because sometimes while someone is calling, another person may be on the line, and it is not every time you call or you pick up the phone that you get through. So try, if you have been trying before, please don't give up. Keep your courage up, continue to make your attempt. We like to hear what you have to say. We want to know how you feel about certain issues, because that is one of the ways through which we can help impact and impart change.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Bola, as we know, the industrial climate continues, and persons are, of course, within their constitutional right, expressing how they feel about certain decisions that are taken by government. Most recently, the decision of government to provide, I don't even want to say aid, because it's not really aid, as we know, the airport authority, due to COVID, and I want us to understand that in speaking about all of these things, all of these economic situations, we are speaking about it in a COVID environment. We have not really seen the blunt of COVID. We feel comfortable here in Grenada because we haven't seen people dying. We haven't seen a massive amount of people losing their jobs and requiring assistance. While it is still a lot, it's not as big as some of the other countries. And of course, we have not really felt the economic blunt. We, as individuals within the country, have not felt it. While government is sitting there up front, basically with a barricade, trying to protect us as a people from what that economic situation really does look like, and what it could really do to us as a people. We are comfortably in the background, taking a stick and poking government and saying, listen, just let it in, do what we want, give us what we want. And sometimes not everything that you want or everything that you ask for is good for you, So we know that the situation with the airport authority has been difficult. They have been, of course, really feeling the blunt. They have been the ones really feeling the economic blunt of COVID-19 because as far as I understand it, they have been operating on a $2 million deficit or I think it's $3.3 million deficit. And in order for them to be able to function properly on a monthly basis, they need at least $2 million in aid, assistance, loan, whatever you want to call it, to help the airport continue running. Because without that aid, the airport would basically shut down. I mean, I don't want to sugarcoat it and put it in no, nice baggage to put it out there. The airport would shut down if they are not able to meet that requirement. So government has made the decision to give to the airport authority $1 million, a monthly loan. And I want to stress on that because we hear, and it has been the talk, it has been the conversation, people have been airing their opinions. Oh, government say they can't pay the 4%, but look, they're giving the airport $1 million every month. It is a loan that they have to find $1 million every month and give to the airport, but it's a loan nonetheless, meaning that money is going to come back to them in some way, shape, or form. And it's very unfortunate that at this point in time, we have not started being considerate to the plight of others. Because the reality is, if the airport shuts down, our country would be in a grave economic state. I don't want to put it in nice rapid, Mr. Bola. I want to say it as it is this morning. That is the reality. And there are some people who would sit and listen and say, oh, well, they're just making excuses. It's not excuses. It's the reality of the situation. It is as it is. If they cannot meet that requirement, they will have to send workers home. The airport is not like other institutions where you could cut back here and cut back there and cut back, to see how you can make it work. They have to get what they have to get. And that is just the reality of it. So it's very unfortunate that we are at a place where every time government pulls out some money from somewhere to assist somebody that is in more need of it than you are, and I say that with no apology, Mr. Bola, because they are more in need of it than at this time than giving a 4% increase. The priority is there. The priority must be there because at the end of the month, every single month, whether there's a 4% or not, public servants, whether it's teachers, doctors, whatever it is, receive their full salary. And that is the reality of it. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the fact that at the end of every month, you are sure on time to go to the bank and collect a salary. And let's also compare that to the fact that there are people working on the airport now who are very uncertain of what their financial situation will be in the upcoming months had government not provided this support to them.
Well, Mr. Duncan, if I should chime in a little bit, I agree with 95% of what you said. 95%. And the way you said what you said, I know it's coming from the heart. There's just this one little part where you talk about priority. And government, like everyone else, most of us, there are many occasions in our lives where we have to prioritize.
Absolutely.
There are several things that must be done or needs to be done, but based on the resources available or the time you have, you must prioritize, put them in an order of priority to say what I should do first, because I believe I do not have enough time to accomplish all of the tasks before me, or I don't have all of the money to accomplish all of the tasks before me, so let me prioritize. And in that, I don't think we can consider the 4% that have to be given or is owed to public servants in the same context of priority. And I'll explain what I mean. Because I want to be very frank, and we always aim to be upfront here. It is a contractual arrangement that was made between the government and the unions, consciously so, and signed up to. There's no getting away from that.
Right.
So, in other words, as we sometimes say, this is a necessary evil that must happen.
Right.
Not meaning that the 4% payment is evilous, but it is something that has to happen and something that will happen.
Right.
The issue here is that one party, being the government, is saying, listen, we have signed this agreement with you. We have to hold it up. However, At this point in time, it is not practicable for us to do it. At this point in time, as government, we are not in a financially stable and strong enough position to implement and maintain or sustain over the rest of time that we have to pay you that 4%. So we are kindly asking you to defer for us to a later date. Yes? Mm-hmm. Later date meaning they did not want to name a time, but say, look, let us continue to review periodically, at least every 3 months. Let us assess. Let us together look at where the government finances are, the position that we are in. Are we better off than the last 3 months? And if so, by how much? Are we now in a position to implement and sustain over the period of time? Right. And you will be involved, the unions, as the negotiators on the behalf of the workers. You would be involved. We will assess together. But you also have that power, that right, that opportunity to do independent assessment without the government's involvement, to verify if what the government is saying is upfront, is truthful, and is it a reliable fact that you can live by. Yes? This is what government is putting forward. Now, you've made some other points that are very, very good and worthwhile. There's now the issue about, well, the government is finding money to give the airport. The government, one, is not giving any money to the airport. It's a loan. Right. But separate and apart from that, the trade unions of this country have an obligation to the working people whom they represent, yes, and whom they collect the monthly or fortnightly dues from. Yeah. So these people, these workers, are paying the union more or less to represent them. Yes. In issues of salary negotiations, on fairness in the workplace, and all these things. And that's the responsibility of the union. Government, on the other hand, have a responsibility for all the public servants that are represented by the various unions, but they also have an obligation and a responsibility to every other citizen in this country. Whether you work in the private sector, you work in a statutory organization, in a parastatal body, you are unemployed, you are sick, you are now a shut-ins age and in a home. It doesn't matter where you are. You're in the prisons, you are a school child. That is the responsibility, morally and otherwise, for government to ensure that you are safe, that you are in a secured environment, that the road conditions are up to the standard, so that all of those who travel, whether you are a passenger or you are a motorist, that you have a comfortable and good enough, reliable enough road to work on, that bridges are being replaced and built where there are none, that the electricity supply through the island is good, even if it is run by private company, that you have water on a consistent basis, that is not only consistent, but that is of a quality that as citizens of the state you can utilize. That the whole issue of environment and the impact of greenhouse gases and the climatic changes that we're seeing in global warming, the government also has a responsibility to ensure that we regulate these things in such a way that it does not create too much discomfort for the citizen. That the garbage collection, even though run by a parastatal organization, that is done in a manner and on a regular basis, that the citizenry of this island is not affected negatively by the piling up of garbage, you know, and every other thing the government has to look after. So I'm saying, while the unions do have a responsibility, which they take serious, because they are demanding and they are clamoring for, which is also their right, they must at some point in time, along with the public servants, recognize that our issue is important. It is on the priority list. But we have to look at government now in the bigger picture, all of whom government has a responsibility for, and see in the order of things, are we at the top of the list in terms of priority? Yeah. Not that your 4% is not a priority, it is. Because the government itself has said, for us having a deferral is not the best thing.
Absolutely.
Because it is putting us in a disadvantageous position where by the time we are able to pay it this year, later on this year, as the government has said, we are seeing right at our doorsteps another 4% for 2022, which we would like more than ever to be able to meet that time frame as being the 1st of January 2022. Right.
But also, and we need to always stick that in, because that is an important point, because it's something they're also not talking about. It's not that government is not honoring the agreement or doesn't want to honor the agreement, because they already have. They have paid the 4% that is due to public servants from the beginning of 2020, when the agreement was signed and supposed to take action from. It was supposed to be activated in 2020, and so it was, and they were paid their 4% then. Considering the circumstances, I mean, under normal, we have no COVID, and under normal circumstances, government was not able to foresee that we would be in this position right now, because had they been able to see that, then maybe they would have said, okay, well, look, we foresee this is going to happen, so maybe we should defer in 2020. No, that did not happen. In 2020, they received their 4%, and on top of that, received salaries in full throughout the duration of the lockdown. And even after, up to this point, where government is now saying, well, we are unable, we are incapable of meeting this requirement. And I could understand, honestly. I mean, it's just as a normal situation, Mr. Bola.
It's not normal.
No, let's say, for example,
it's not a normal situation.
It's not a normal situation. But for example,
normal situation, because if it was normal, they would have
paid.
Received. Yes.
You, for example, on a monthly basis, you could you make X amount of money. You expect to make that because you are a public servant and you are contracted.
I'm not, yeah.
No, I know, but
so don't use that as an example.
Hypothetically, you are a public servant and you expect to receive, let's say, in the ballpark of $6,000 a month, right? You know that you are there until you retire, XYZ. You decide you go into the bank and sign a contract to receive a vehicle, because on the basis of the fact that you are going to receive a full salary at the end of the month, and you can make this payment to the bank to sustain your loan that you are taking for your vehicle. Then something happens, you get an injury or something of the sort, and obviously you can't work anymore. The money that you expected to receive is no longer coming in. So basically, you are wounded physically and financially. You are unable to meet that requirement to pay the bank back for the vehicle that you signed for. It was a contractual agreement between you and the bank that they would give you the money for a vehicle and you would pay it back. You are financially incapable, and you are also physically unable to gather the money. No, I mean, the bank has to do what the bank has to do, not to take the money, the vehicle back.
Yep.
So it is a similar situation. Government is saying to you, we understand the situation, but I mean, we just can't do it. There's no way we can see ourselves doing this and still have the country run, as it should. Look at what just happened to Mr. Bola with the airport authorities. Do you really think government foresaw that happening? Do you really think they knew that this is what was going to happen to the airport?
Well, I don't think they knew that is what was going to happen, but I think all of us should have had an idea that based on what COVID has done, the almost complete collapse of the traveling public, and not just in Grenada. I mean, throughout, there are several airlines of international that are closed, and thousands of workers have been sent home since last year, and they are home receiving nothing. I mean, look at the tourism sector in Grenada as a result of COVID and the fact that you don't have cruise ships coming, you don't have airlines bringing in people, you don't have stayover visitors. Most of our hotels are closed completely, save and except those that operate as quarantine stations that may have 5 or 10 people at any one time who came in and have to be quarantined for a couple of days. Save and except that, almost every other hotel is closed. My understanding is that the hotel sector alone employed in excess of 2,000, almost 2,500, 2,006 people, 600 people. All of these people are home and has been home since last year. You know?
Yeah.
They got a little stimulus from government, which is money government had to find to give to them to help them get along. But government cannot continue to pay that unemployment sort of benefit type salary every day, every month for every year. The NIS was asked to do something, which they did. Excuse me, small as it may be. But the government had that responsibility to look out. Now the airport is struggling because you hardly have flights.
Yeah.
There are some days when you have no flights at all. Some days 1 or 2, right? And the level of business being done now is not able to sustain their operations as they used to. They turn to government. Government say, well, look, we have to see what we can do to help. If not, it means that the hundreds of people that are presently employed with the airport authority would be going home.
Right.
Government reach out and say, listen, we may see a little avenue that we can assist, but we cannot give you a grant. We can't just give you a money because we are struggling ourselves. So we may be able to give you a loan of X amount for X amount of period, and you would have to repay.
Right.
You know? An arrangement was made. Now tell me, why and how can you use that as a basis to say, well, you can't pay me my 4%, but you could help them? These are people who are facing unemployment.
Yeah.
They are staring it right in the face.
Yep.
There's a possibility that they will go home and remain home for we don't know how long. Because remember, we keep saying the effects of COVID is not just the physical sickness that you get from contracting the virus. It is not just the physical fitness from contracting the virus. It is far more than that. It is the economic fallout. It is the pain and suffering that it brings when loved one dies, when families are being replaced, or displaced, is the correct word.
Displaced.
They're losing their job. They are no longer an income to the household. And is it fair to say that I shouldn't get my raise because of another person not getting
not having an income?
Or not having an income? Well, it probably isn't fair to you. But be considerate and understand that we are all in this fight together.
But also, Mr. Bola, it is also the job of the union not just to clamor for salary increases or benefits to workers, but also to ensure job security and job security across the board for all of its members. So while the teachers are under a union that says, yes, we have to fight for the workers of the union, collaboratively, cannot the trade union council sit all of the unions down together and see how whatever decision one union makes affects the job security of workers in another union? Because I can guarantee that if government says to them, okay, well, they've been making so much noise, they've gone on strike and so on, let's go ahead and pay them, it will affect, there will be a trickle-down effect. Other workers will be affected because government is not able to manage their finances in such a way where they can provide all-round support or all-round scaffolding for all employees everywhere that need it. And that is an important question. Are you willing, are you saying to the Grenadian people that you do not consider the fact that everybody must eat? That everybody is entitled to a salary because your salary is not jeopardized. Your salary is not affected. The only thing that you are clamoring for is for more money when there are people who are clamoring for some, at least a little bit, so that they and their families can survive. I can never feel sorry for something like that. I cannot sympathize with, I cannot understand this kind of thing.
So while some of us are demonstrating for more, some people have none.
Have none.
Right? And like I said, the union's responsibility is to seek what is best for the workers. Government's responsibility is to seek what's best for the entire population.
And mind you, same teachers, what you are clamoring for, it will affect the same students that you have to go and teach, you know. The same students that you are saying, oh, well, it is so difficult to be a teacher that we require X, Y, Z, and not that we are disputing that. I, for myself, personally know how difficult it is to be a teacher, but also taking into consideration that the children that we teach, when we clamor for our 4% and we make noise for it and other workers are affected, it's the parents of those same students that we are affecting. It is these same students that come and sit in our classrooms that came to school yesterday, whose parents made a conscious decision to send them to school based on the little that they have to ensure that their children get a proper education so they won't end up in a situation like them where they have to either, work in the hotel sector or make a little panquai here or there. And you are leaving these children in school to go and protest for more when their parents don't even have less. Their parents don't even have less, Mr. Bo. But you go in and clamor for more. I cannot sympathize with that.
Well, the outgoing president said when asked about you all are out in the street, what happened to the children? He said the teachers are always concerned about the children, so arrangements have been made to ensure that the children are safe and secure. He was asked by a reporter from GB. And so maybe they had made arrangements. But, the scenario being spoken about now is where the genesis of government's appeal for a deferral of the 4% to a later date really sinks in and really comes in. This is where the rubber hits the road, where the two things mesh. The government has said and has asked for the deferral because in their own mind, knew that from the limited resources which they are now collecting, which they now have on hand, there's always going to be a possibility that a bailout may have to be given to an institution here or there. And so they have asked the public servants in the simplest way and kindest way to please let us defer to a later date when we feel much more comfortable that we can implement and sustain. And am I saying that they don't deserve? No. I mean, I have said to many people, do not refer to the public servants as being greedy or anything like that, because they are not. They're actually asking and making a demand for what is rightfully theirs, for what they had been promised, for what they expect for the service. However, with such expectations, to realize it at this time is extremely difficult. As a matter of fact, it's bordering on impossibility. And government has been saying clariantly, please, we are not denying, we are not ignoring, we are not saying never, we are just saying at this time, it is extremely difficult to do it.
Absolutely.
And I really would hope that for those, and we cannot say all public servants, we cannot say all teachers, we cannot say everyone who works with the public service is out there angrily demonstrating. There are quite a number of public servants, inclusive of teachers, who are saying that, look, I'd like to have my 4% and have it now. I'd like to have my salary increase and have it now. However, I understand from where the government is speaking. I can feel the pain for other people as well, because we should love thy neighbor as thyself. And as a result, I am prepared to wait down the line to have my 4% implemented. And the truth is, whether it is implemented now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, the public servant, the teacher, the whoever, loses no money whatsoever, because whatever time it's implemented, they will have to backdate it and pay them for the many months that they did not get it. And my understanding is that payment comes with an interest on the amount, because you were deferred, right? So
Sabota, funny enough, a former Prime Minister was asked last night while watching the news. He was being interviewed, and he was asked if in their position, if in the position that this government is in now, what would they do? And he said, well, he has always been oh Lord, he has always been known, let the record show that he has always been known for paying public servants. And I would like to know if the record is different from the one I know, because from what I understand and from what I've seen and from the information that we have received, during that period under his governance, there had not been one salary increase. There had been not one increment paid. There had public servants actually had to wait until the fortnight of the following month to receive salary for the previous month's work?
Well, the gentleman is not incorrect here to say he has always paid. He has always paid. He has always paid because public servants did receive the money. What he did not complete his statement to say is that he did not pay on time or when they was expected to be paid. And he did not say that he didn't pay salary increases and increments. Right. But he paid. He said he has always paid. And so he's correct. He has always paid, but never paid a salary increase, never paid an increment, never paid on time.
But he's paid.
But he's paid.
I agree.
So we have to analyze what people say and the context of
yes,
they speak.
He has paid.
He has paid.
He just never paid a salary increase. And maybe it was not a specific enough question. So he gave a generalized answer using...
Well, if you have a general question, you give a general
answer. You're absolutely correct. Guys, the lines are open. The number to call is 440-7377 if you're calling locally. If you're in the diaspora and you want to give us a call, it's 347-329-3101. You can also send us a message via WhatsApp at 440-7377 or give us a WhatsApp call as well. The live video is up and running, so you can post your comments, questions, queries, concerns there as well, and we will be more than happy to try our best to answer them for you. But involve yourself in the conversation. Let us know what you think and what is happening in your neck of the woods. I always say, Mr. Bola, to me personally as a parent, I am not fazed by the industrial action that is occurring because I do not see my children being adversely affected by it in any way, shape, or form. But that's me. Now, let's talk about the parents who are incapable of doing the things that some parents are able to do academically. What happens to these students in the upcoming? Because remember, we are dealing with a situation where we're coming out of a pandemic where they've had months of either limited or no school at all, and then going into a phased approach for school, and then on top of that, having industrial action happen in 2018, having the latter part of 2018, then having industrial action happen now again, where they are being disadvantaged. What do we do in this situation? We have a call on the line, Mr. Bola. Let's take this call quickly.
Good morning, Mr.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, morning, sir.
How's everything?
Very well for now.
Yeah. Mr. Bola, yesterday morning I went in town and I saw the protest. And one thing that I heard the union was saying, government pay me, we want you money, cost of living high. Cost of living high, yes, cost of living high. But you know something I always say in life, like, okay, if you meet two persons on the roadside, right, one have a bunch of blubber and some jacks in a bottle of oil, and the other one has nothing, right? And you have to reach out and help. We're not saying that the two persons don't need help, but it's the one with a bunch of fig and the fresh jack and oil, he have a meal in hand where he could go cook and supply for his family. Where the other one, he has nothing. So if you have to reach out and help one, he will reach out and help one that has nothing to eat. Okay, he has a family to take care. And it's not easy to do that as a father or as a mother when they reach out nothing to eat. And I always say to take it from the less fortunate to give to someone who have already. It is a crime. It is a crime. Okay, I want to say it to the team.
Hi, you gone? Hello? Did you touch something?
No, it seems like we lost the caller. Yeah, but the caller was making a very good point, Mr. Bola. Cost of living high. But cost of living is not high for just some in the country. You know? If you say
it's not just those who walk in, it's high for everybody.
It's high for everyone. And that is the same point that we are trying to make. If you have identified as an intellectual that cost of living has increased and you are sure on your salary every month, you have also identified that we are going through a pandemic, that persons have been disposed, their employment has been cut, or they have not been making as much as they're supposed to make, but they still have to meet their daily needs. You understand all of this, but you are making these ridiculous demands. I mean, one statement contradicts the other. It's either that or it shows that you have no compassion. And I would hate to believe that the latter is true. We have a call on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Mills.
Mr. Bowler, please, thank you. How you know is me?
Hey, Mr. Mills always noisy you.
Well, they tell me now how you knowing.
But I tell you, every time you pick up the phone to call, my fingers start to tingle. Every time you call, I'm telling you this.
Oh, well, I want to stick it in my head, but I didn't know. So you're good?
I am good. How are you?
Well, I'm a nice like cook rice.
Hey, well, everything good with you. That's good.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Mills. I thought you was nice and sweet like cuckoo.
Mr. Bowler, how are you doing, man?
I am very well this morning, thank God.
Well, could I tell you Carriacou no move, eh?
Yes, you can tell me all the time. I know you moved. There was a plan for me to be up to Carriacou this week because we were supposed to have constituency branch election that should have been taking place tonight. But then that has been postponed to a later date.
So what date you decide to?
Not me. It is the parliamentary rep and the people of Carriacou who would be participating in that. So it's not me, Mr. Mills. If
Well,
it
I
was
wanted
me,
that to look for you.
if it was me, I was going to tell you right away. It's not me. It is them. So I await the new date, and then I'll let you know.
So I'll keep talking to you, and then you're going to tell me?
Or even if you don't talk to me, I will send it for you. I will tell you.
You will tell me?
Yeah. Even if Mr. Mills don't talk to me, I will never again visit that piece of rock named Carriacou.
And you won't tell me?
I ain't come to Mr. Mills' house.
Okay.
This one is a promise.
But are you able to eat others cooking now?
Curtis Mills, I'll be there.
Okay, dokie. I'm waiting, hungry now.
Yes. When I am coming, you know. But we there, yeah, we good. We're discussing the issue about the 4% salary increase.
I know.
And the fact that, people need it, yes. Government will pay it, but the government is just asking for a little more space, saying that at this point in time, it is extremely difficult. As a matter of fact, it is impossible for them to put it on and sustain it month by month. And then some people are complaining, well, you ain't paying us, but you're helping here, you're helping there, you're helping. But it's the responsibility of government, because government has to look at all the citizens.
Yes, it's true.
The unions only have to look at the members.
Yeah.
That's right.
Which is the same people government have to look after too.
Yes, Mr. Bola.
So, we just want people to recognize, hey, it's not a government don't want to do what they have to do. Government has acknowledged, because remember, there's a signed agreement, Government signed the agreement, and the reason why they sign it is because they expected to be in a position to pay it, but COVID came.
Mr. Bola, they said the 1st of April is time full day.
Still, I didn't know that still does be around.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of it going on still.
Okay.
But so you going on or leave it out?
Well, I guess he going on, I guess.
Yeah, but I was thinking about myself. You have to be careful how you're doing that. Because if you make a time full, which you aren't supposed to do, especially to the police force, and it is not true, you get yourself messed up.
Yeah, of course. And the government ain't pulling nobody.
No,
because remember, government has always been giving the increase, this government in particular.
And it's a good government.
A very good government. It's just this time, the way things are, they say, well, give us a little break. We can't handle it now, but we go do what we have to do a little later down the line.
You hear Turkey does give people low that true?
I don't know.
Turkey?
Turkey.
I don't know.
Oh, Mr. Mills, where you get that one?
No, I heard, so I only tell him what I heard.
I don't know. I can't.
But you had 4 dozen get it.
Right, and I know you are yard full, so don't worry.
So I have to cancel the yard talk and cook.
We cook. No, I don't eat turkey, sir. We cooking down the yard full in coconut milk, coconut
water.
water.
Say cancel the turkey and cook the yard full.
Yes, man.
Why you want it in soup or you want it in rice?
We cooking it down with coconut milk
Coconut milk.
and saffron and thing.
Well, nice. What's in the coconut here? You have to grate it. It's better than to get the coconut milk in the tin, you know.
Yes, that is the coconut I want. Local coconut, not coconut in tin.
Yeah, well, we have the local coconut here.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'll climb the tree, you know.
Mr. Mills, don't worry about that. Stop telling people your business. When I come, we cooking our food. I come in and spend our
Cooking our
time.
food.
We cooking, you and I.
Yes, man.
We that cooking. All right?
Not the fire.
The fire only giving heat, but
Alright,
we
but
cooking.
we don't need cooking.
Yes. All right? So, we
Well-
there. We talking money.
All right.
And
Well,
I want
have a
people to call.
container you bring down a bowl for Miss Bola?
Yes.
For Miss
No, Miss Bola, not Miss Duncan. Miss Bola, I have a wife.
Miss
Miss Alison Bola. I don't know nothing about Miss Duncan. Miss Duncan and I only working together.
Miss Duncan, you're laughing. So you don't want your share?
Yes, please send Doc my bowl. I know what you mean, you know, but Mr. Bola just have to be so horrible. He had to make sure when he go me get links.
Yeah.
So he had to be very precise in
I
correct.
understand.
Do you like licks, Mr. Mills?
Eh?
You like licks?
If I like lick,
You like lashes on your body?
I can't for what?
Well, that's why I'm saying I don't like it. So if she figure I defending getting licks, anything wrong with that?
But according to what you do, what's in Brother Bola, if you do something wrong and you deserve it,
Give
Yes,
it to him. I find so.
and it,
I agree. Every man get paid according to his works.
well, about $100, if you deserve your $100, you get it.
Right. But you see,
But if you deserve your...
if I know if wrong things happen, is licks I won't get. I have to avoid as much as possible
Yeah,
doing and saying
okay,
wrong
sure.
things. Because I don't like licks.
But don't avoid something, eh?
What to do?
Come into Carriacou.
All right. No, I won't avoid that. I
You
ain't
not
avoiding
avoid
that. No, not at all.
Okay, just make
Good.
sure.
Right. So, we're giving some other people time now to call and talk money. We want
Money
public
talk.
servants to call. We want people who believe
Parents, everybody.
that they should get the money, and we say yes, they should get it.
Well, I
but do
know
you?
about that. Well, Mr. Bola, I go say yes, they should get the money.
Yes,
Yeah, I know about that.
I agree that they should get it too. But the government is saying because of the COVID and all the other things we're doing and the drop in revenue, we can't give it right now.
Well, now, I must learn to wait too.
Okay, so you agree that they should wait a little bit.
Yes, I agree. Wait.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mills.
Because listen one thing before on.
Yes.
My grandfather say if you are patient, you'll see inside the belly.
Yeah, they say that. Hands on belly. I don't know what they lying give us for. Since we little tell us that. Have patience, you go see hands belly. So,
But if you are patient, they will get the money.
they will. And, you know, this government has a record of delivering on its promise. And it's something that was promised, something that was signed to all the government. They're asking,
I
just
want
give
mine
me a
in
little more
brown
time.
envelope, eh?
You want yours in a brown envelope?
Yes.
Okay, that I will make sure I tell them.
So that would be very nice.
Take care, my
Brother
good
Bola,
brother.
you have a nice day. You and Miss Duncan, and take care.
Enjoy. I will have a nice day. Miss Duncan will have a nice day. But she and I won't have a nice day.
All right.
Okay, very good. Take care, Mr. Mills. Have an enjoyable one.
Oh, good Lord. Mr. Bola, we need to make the connection as well, letting people know that the pandemic not just affected as you said, the health of individuals, but it very much so affected the economy. And we have to let people know that the fact is, the reason we see price increases, and we have not started to see price increases yet, let us continue.
Well, we started, we have not seen it
No,
in a
I
big
mean
way.
in a big way.
Yeah.
Let us continue along the lines where persons are refusing to get vaccinated and world leaders are having difficulties in convincing persons or getting people to understand, not really convincing, because it's more of an understanding issue. Getting people to understand that the only way that we are able to move forward is to be vaccinated. If we are having difficulty in doing that and getting that done, then the longer it will take for us to start moving ahead as a country, and we will see more inflation happening. We will see the prices of goods going up, because guess what? large businesses, are not able to achieve economies of scale, and we spoke about that already. Economies of scale, where you are able to sell to a larger population, or more people are able to buy, so therefore you are achieving profit, even though you are selling at a lower price.
Yeah.
Right? Businesses have to stay afloat as well, not just we that have to stay afloat when we get our salary, but businesses have to stay afloat because they have to pay their workers as well, so it really is a cycle. It's an issue that we have to look at holistically across the board. People will be affected in all areas, and we have to take that into consideration when we are making these demands. You cannot say to the government, and I think it's very irrational and very irresponsible and very inconsiderate for you to say to the government, pay us our 4% because the cost of living is going up, and government is saying, well, we can't pay it because we have to help other people, and you are saying, I don't care, pay us, we don't care.
Well, I don't know. They probably say that just as a joke.
Can't be a joke.
I don't know why Grenadians will say they don't care. You have to care.
You can't make them kind of joke. We have another call on the line. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Bola.
Hi,
Yes,
good
sir.
morning.
Yes.
Yeah, get cut off.
Yes. We're sorry about that.
As I was saying, like the cost of living is high for everybody. It's high for everybody. What I'm saying, I'm working. I get no salary. Yes, a lot of things I could still be able to purchase something from my family. What about people who don't work in? Right? Cost of living is high for them too. And it is worse because when they can't want to say they're going to shop credit them nothing. You got the shopping credit a man who don't work in. I don't know if he credit where he get money coming from to pay. Right? So I have to say to the workers, right? To protesters, yes, the government understands your situation. They understand, and they never say they will not pay. All what they're asking for is just a little extension in time.
Yeah.
Because remember, the government has to look over all the people in the country, not only one sector of people, everyone. The government has to look over. So let us have some compassion, and let us have some patience. And they were saying, if we are patient, we're going to see unveiling. We will see unveiling. And when you look at the track record of NDC and NMP, NMP is a government that keeps promise. And if they promise you something and you can't fulfill it, they will come back to you and say to you, yes, Mr. John, I promised something. But based on the situation, which I think everyone knows what is the situation right now, where the government collecting less than what they expected to collect, and we know the reason why. Right? So if we understand the situation we're going on right now, we should come to an agreement and let's wait. Let's wait when things get back better so that we could get the people who demonstrating, they could get 4%. And I know definitely I will have to get from that. But I'm willing to wait. And I want something to say again, Mr. Bola and Ms. Duncan. The people of Shenda, I know they were collaborating for a road that was long overdue based on certain obstacle that was in the way, that obstacle removed. I want to say to the government, yes, to promise, and the people of Shenda is happy. They know that they will get a better road to pass because when in Shenda, where if you want to come out the main road, you have to go right wrong or pass right to the top of the secondary school. We might take about 15 minutes. So if you later decide to walk on the road, you have 50 or 10 minutes. But that road where the government is presently in progress in bringing a better road for the people of Shenda, for the people of Hill. I say once people of Shenda have to say thanks to the government for doing because that's the government promise and they will always fulfill their promise. So Mr. Duncan, Mr. Bola, you all have a wonderful God bless you.
Well, thank you for your contribution, brother. We appreciate. Have a good day yourself.
Guys, remember the number to call is 440-7377 if you're calling locally. If you're in the diaspora and you want to give us a call, it's 347-329-3101. Call, involve yourself in the conversation. Don't just sit there and say, me, I ain't agree with them now. Tell us why. Talk to us. We listen in. We have another call on the line. Good morning.
Good morning, Sister Duncan.
Good morning, Miss Jacob. How are you?
Well, I'm not too bright as you and Brother Bula, but
Yes, Miss Jacob, I'm bright this morning. Thank you. How can we make your morning bright for you?
oh, my, you could make my morning bright. But I telling you something, don't laugh at me, eh? Last week, Monday. Well, this Monday make it easy. Last week, Monday. Well, Papa, my niece just gave me food on Sunday, but I had food, and I eat the food, and I eat chew on the Monday. Brother Bolan and Sister Donna, girl, you don't know what I do. I eat my food first, and then I leave the meat for last. That's what I does do. That's how I does eat my food. Papa, take up the piece of meat. I had a knife in my hand to eat the meat, but I forget knife and I put down the teeth and the bone. My teeth just go pack.
The teeth break?
The teeth break me. Break, bye. Oh, God, but still, the devil is a liar. I don't put on the meat and say, I eat it with the knife. I pass this, I put it right in the back.
Yes.
But Jacob, you can't give us a good joke so tell us to laugh. I don't understand.
So what you did now, you went and have the piece removed? Or
Yes,
it broke?
Papa.
Okay.
I tell Miss Odekala. I you don't go and take out the teeth no man, the teeth shaking, I could haul it out. Papa, you they tell the minister about it. The minister called me the evening, say, Miss Jacob, well, I hear people say you're mad in truth. Miss Jacob, don't take out the teeth. You can't take out the teeth, don't mind it shaking. Suppose you haul out the teeth now, and you start to bleed. They call us, well, how that? When we come, you're dead. Maybe don't do that.
Yes.
Papa, he called and he asked if he have any doctor this Thursday.
Oh, so you went and do it Thursday?
Thursday morning, very early. He sent the driver to collect me.
Okay.
Collect me, drop me up there. And then he go and do the coup because you know they do need the coffee.
Right.
And then when they take out the doctor come, that Dr. George. But that doctor handled me like a baby. He's so sweet. I tell you now, if I have anything going there, then when she put the injection in the top.
Yes.
And then she tell the nurse because the nurse Jack now tell the nurse to go in when I going in with him, with the doctor. She say, nurse, we won't put Miss Jacob outside, leave her on the bed there. And we stay with chat, I give them joke with chat. When I see she say, I said, Doc, you know what we go do now? Let me say the offer and the healing maybe 3 times. Oh, what? Yes, they just start it and then they go along with the prayer. And then when they finish praying, they say, well, they give them the second injection now. Well, when they find attacking the mouth kind of thing, they pull out the teeth. The one that come out in the gum, if you see the size of the teeth that come out in the gum, say that the doctor said, Miss Jacob, you're mad. You could have taken out that teeth.
Now, teeth that go very far, they just be well anchored, especially the jaw teeth, and them, they're very well anchored.
Mine is in the front.
In the front, very well anchored.
That's well anchored. And when to come, she give a piece in the gum. She give it 2 rock. The 3rd rock that take it out, you know. They say, Lord, Miss Jacob.
But you're good now. You're feeling better now. You're feeling better now.
I could put a crime on you and
all right. Well, that's what we want to hear. That you're better, the mouth good, you could chew again, you could eat food.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna cook some sweet peas with dumpling and yam and I'm going behind the turkey, you man.
Oh, boy.
Turkey that me don't like, but I go use the knife. I
Yeah.
cut it small,
Yes.
and I go put it at the very back of the mouth.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
And make sure you let it boil properly so it cooks
Yeah,
soft and
you
nice.
boil properly because I'm cooking it with the sweet peas.
Good.
And
Good.
you know the sweet peas I do mash up.
Well, go make your sauce, Miss Jacob. Enjoy it. Enjoy your day because we're talking 4%.
And I'm going back for my next injection on the 5th of May.
Okay, good. For your vaccine. So we're encouraging
Vaccine,
people.
Man, you mad?
Yes.
Yeah,
Very
begging
good.
everybody now take the vaccine.
It is good and it's necessary. It's necessary. Yes.
So you and Sister Duncan, you all have a wonderful and a blessed day.
Well, thank you for calling. You enjoy the rest of your day. May it be blessed and enjoy your
Very
split
much.
pea soup with love.
Okay,
Take
love.
Love. Bye-bye.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, Mr. Bola, it is necessary to get vaccinated. Absolutely necessary because it will help a lot of the situations that we are experiencing. What they should really be marching in tongue for is to encourage people to get vaccinated and they
Well,
themselves
that's what
get
you
vaccinated.
should be marching about. You
No, not
can't
me.
tell them people that they can't march for the 4%. I do agree with you with that. Me and
What
you
they
having
should be, what they
me
should
and
be.
you having a lot of disagreement this morning. I'm not
I
agreeing
ain't
with
find
you.
it's a lot. I find it's only 2.
They
Who is that?
They are marching for their money.
But what they
Right.
should be marching for, in my
What
opinion,
you would like them to add to that,
is for the vaccine.
the vaccine, because the more of the teachers and the more of the people, the more Grenadians who take the vaccine, and the sooner they do,
is the sooner we
the
get
sooner
back to
we'll
normal.
be able to open up the country fuller,
Of
get
course.
back to normal or what is close to normal operations.
And the 4% could be
revenue
paid.
collection will soon increase because the tourism sector will reopen again. The airport will
Absolutely.
be doing better because you will have more flights coming in,
Right.
and hence the reason government will not have to assist airport workers and the airport authority, and so and that 4% payment may be made much quicker than we
Much
think.
quicker. We have a call on the line. Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, good. Well, I'm just trying to make my contribution.
Absolutely, go right ahead.
You know, like, actually, I think the demonstration by the so-called teachers and them is a disgrace. You know, because I think, tell you what, in this time, we are the only people in the whole world right now who is on strike and who is demonstrating for more money. Right? Tell you what, they may be sincere, but I think that they are sincerely wrong. It's terrible because, I mean, even the Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
At the same time, let them know that money may be able to buy them a house, but money would never buy them a home.
Yeah.
Money will buy them a clock. Money will never buy them time.
Yeah.
Money will give them insurance. Money will never give them assurance. Money may even make them wealthy. Money will not make them healthy. Money will buy them a bed. Money will never buy them sleep. How could they go and sleep when they're no school children at home? You're not learning. Right? Money will even give them, some of them a wife. Money wouldn't give them life. In this time, I think the government have too much on its plate. Because if they themselves can look after their own self and their family, the government now have to look after a much wider family than they are.
Yeah.
The government have to look after the whole country. Right? And if they are so educated, they should find ways and mechanisms to do something to add to their livelihood. Because when they die, the education die with them. If they get a business, when they die, the business continue. You know, so I don't think education is books. Far from it.
Absolutely.
A man who is able to support himself and his family, that man is an educated man. You've got so much books in education and so much academic and so much all these things, yet still you don't have no other means to look after yourself and your dependents. Because when they die, the books die with them. When a businessman die, the business continues.
Yeah.
Right?
So the government have too much on its plate, too much to chew. So I just want to know that they are very wrong. And I'm looking here from the diaspora. I feel really gutted. Mr. Mola?
Yes,
I
sir.
know when you speak, you got plenty credibility.
Thank you, sir.
You speak honest. I think maybe you should be a high priest. Because you speak honest. You speak honest.
Well, I try my best to be, sir.
So I always call you Honorable Mr. Bola.
Well, I'm honored to be called that way.
Huh?
I say I'm honored to be called that way by you.
Well, it's true. I mean, I seen you there. You should be a high priest. And if you was a high priest, I would believe in you much more than other high priests I see outside there.
Oh, my God. I'm so believable. Well, I thank you for your credits, sir. I appreciate it. And I thought you made some very valid points, which I agree with 100%. I like the part about money.
Well, it's true. Government all over the world is struggling.
Definitely.
All over the world.
All
Even
economies.
big countries.
All economies are struggling.
Even airlines going down. Companies going down.
Yep.
People losing their jobs. They're losing their home. They're losing their livelihood all over the world.
Yep.
But these people down this is demonstrating. If they're educated, do something else to generate money.
Yeah.
Because of your education, do something else to generate money. Don't you sit down and be dependent on government if you're educated? If I'm educated, I'll be self-employed, you know.
Yes.
I'll be self-employed because I'm educated.
Okay.
I can look after myself and do things for myself.
We get you.
So the government should look after the people who is vulnerable. People who is not educated, who cannot help themselves, they should help them. Not these people and them who is just jumping up 4%. What would 4% do for them? It's a disgrace. So, Mr. Bola, I mean, how is, at the same time, how is life down there? How is development? I mean, Grenada looking good sometimes, eh?
Yeah.
I look at Grenada and the different projects, and they're looking good. You know, and I'm very proud of them.
Right. So we are doing reasonably well. Not that we cannot do better, and we hope to do better. The pandemic, as we know, like everywhere else in the world, has brought some standstill to a lot of things. At the moment, what the government is attempting to do is to beef up on construction. They are doing a lot of roads and bridges and walls and so, putting a lot of effort into that because they want to provide immediate kind of income and employment for so many people who have lost their job. I've just said earlier on, over 2,500 people directly, and that is those who are directly employed in hotels and restaurants, have been home since last year because all the hotels are closed down. Plus that we have the taxi drivers and, you know, the tour guides and all other people who are not doing anything at the moment. So things are happening slowly. We expect it to get better as time goes by. So they're trying.
So are you telling me then the people, the so-called teachers, they're not educated enough to see these things?
Well, they are seeing it.
They're able to see these things.
They are seeing it. What is happening, we believe, is that some of those who are behaving the way they're behaving, they are doing it not just for 4%, but they have other agendas on their hand.
Oh, okay.
That's what we believe.
It's like draconian measures or draconian...
Yes, they're behaving that way. Yes.
But it's terrible to see every time we watch the news, you see these people, and the union in Grenada is always want to go on strike, they always want money, and all the other islands in the Caribbean, they are peaceful.
Very peaceful. In fact, in St. Lucia, in case you didn't know, in St. Lucia, the Trade Union Council in St. Lucia said to the government, we will forego our salary increase. We understand what's happening. We see the situation. So we're not making any demand, no salary increase, and they spoke to the workers. It is really only in Grenada we're having that kind of issue. But
that's what I'm saying. Every year the problem is there. And it wouldn't go away, it's getting worse. The more you feed these people, the more they have to you give them a yam. They want something else, you know.
Yes.
They want you to, next year, they'll tell you to come home and feed them with spoon like baby, you know. Put food in their mouth.
Maybe.
Because you give them an inch, they will take a yard.
A yard, yeah.
So sometimes you gotta be tough.
Yep, but we'll overcome it. We will get to the place where we want to be. We will get there. So
I hope you all overcome it because, like I'm looking up here from this place here and it's not looking nice,
yes, understood.
And one more point I would like to say, Mr. Bola, is that I thinking like, okay, they should regulate the transport in Grenada, Because people that are doing public transport, they should have a medical.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Imagine you're 70 years old, you're going over the Grenada town, 15 people in a bus.
Yes.
At that age, you cannot see well. Maybe you got high blood pressure.
Yes.
At the same time, maybe have even diabetes. Because if you got high blood pressure, diabetes will follow. They follow each other. Right? And you're responsible for 15 people in a bus going to Grenada town. So I was thinking if they could regulate the transport industry, people should be healthy to go and drive public transport because they are responsible for people's lives. I was there a couple of years ago and I going on Grenada in a bus and I was trembling.
Okay.
The man was driving erratic and like he has diabetes and like he cannot see and people's life is in his hand.
Okay.
So I was always hoping that they should regulate the bus.
Well, we're going to try. It's something that we take notes when we get comments like those or people make suggestions and we pass it on to the authorities. So it's something that we'll pass on that they may have to look into on an annual or maybe every 6 months that people do certain checks, medical checks, as you are suggesting, and based on the certificate. For public transport. Yep.
It's true, and not only that, the buses also should be in good condition.
Yes.
You mean?
Yeah, they get inspection once a year, but in recent times, I even heard the traffic department talking about not just allowing the police to do the inspection, looking at tires, looking at brakes and things, but that they will get certain garages in different areas, certify them of having the right equipment, and the police will go into those garages and the vehicles will have to come there. So it's not just the police, but you have a qualified garage with qualified mechanics looking at it. They've been talking and trying to put that part in place. But the one about the medical checks is something that we can send forward and say, look, that's a concern and we think they can look into it.
Because I think the steering system and the braking system is very significant in transport. And sometimes the steering is loose. You oversteer, understeer. The ball joint is gone and track rod is out of track and all these different things because I know about this about mechanics.
Yeah,
I can tell sometimes the bus is pulling and wallowing. The bus does pull, and there's so much geometry involved in a vehicle that it will amaze you. There is everything they do. It involves geometry. It involves degree. It involves force. Hello?
Yes, we're there. We hear you.
So there is so much things in a bus that's supposed to be right because people's life is important. And bus supposed to be in tip-top condition to be on the public road. And, so that people can be able to go from A to B in safety. And also like this bus driver shouldn't be seen from shop during working hours, like okay, drive the train. If you're driving the train up here now, you cannot go in a pub now. You cannot go from going to we call it pub. You can't go to a pub with a uniform,
Yeah, okay.
You can't even have a beer in your hand. You can't even carry something in your hand. And you have regular checks. And when you reach 60 years or 50 years, every year you go for a medical again. It's very stringent.
Yep, we understand.
And I also like to big up to the people, like the farmers. They work hard, the fishermen, they work hard. And these people are the two educated people,
Yes.
The people producing. The fisherman is an educated man. The farmers is educated because they are producing. They are helping the country. Teachers are not just taking away from you. They are just talking you. Right? Fisherman now is giving you something.
Yeah.
GDP.
Yeah, well, that's true. They increase the GDP, but the teachers give in a different way. They have the role to play, but they're not in the same line like the farmer and the fisherman. The fisherman provide and make sure that we have food, even for the same teachers to have food, to have the energy to go out there and do what they have to do.
Well, it's true. Yeah, but
we are not
Hello?
hearing him again.
No, seems like we lost.
We
that
lost the caller. We're sorry about that.
call. Right, you can try calling again to further contribute.
Look, I don't know if it's he calling back or someone else. But we seem to be getting another bounce. Not as yet. No.
Yeah,
I'm
but
back.
Mr. Bona, very good points made. Someone on the live is saying, can the government give them the money and send them home?
Well, that is not so
Let
easy.
them feel the pressure.
That is not so easy, my friend, because you see, the issue of employment in the public service is much more complicated than we
just
understand.
Senate, yeah.
It's
It
not
also
just the
says-
government employing people. There's what is called the Public Service Commission, through which you get your appointment and you are employed, and so it has been done that way, and it's a constitutional arrangement. The Public Service Commission is one of the institutes of the state that the Constitution calls for, so as to bring fairness, and across the board openness to employment in the government service.
They're also saying the best way to appreciate your job is to see yourself without one. We have a call on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my lady and gentlemen.
Hi, good morning, sir.
And how are you today?
Well,
Good.
I am feeling better now.
Two things.
Yes, sir.
I got my vaccine.
Your first dose.
Yeah, my first dose. I
Yes.
got my first dose of vaccine.
How was it after? How did you feel?
But the after effect was not very bad, really. I had a little headache for just about one day.
Okay.
And I didn't even have to take painkillers for that.
Okay.
And the day after, I had a little chill and just a slight fever.
Right.
Okay.
But that was about it. I had no pain on the spot or anything like that. I only now waiting for my second dose.
Similar here. We're both waiting because we took our same day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
We're back on
right.
the 21st of April, I think.
And so I'm waiting for my second dose. I just sorry I couldn't get one dose to do the two jobs.
Well, I would have liked that too. I'm not a lover of injections, but it is what it is.
No, I think I'll tell you. I had a scratch on my foot the last time by a nail.
Yes.
I went to the hospital and the first thing they said, did you ever have a tetanus vaccine?
Yes.
And I couldn't remember how long. I
But
had
that was
it.
so long, I don't know. I
Yeah,
too.
I got my tetanus vaccine.
Yeah.
And vaccination is important to fight the disease.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I wish that every Grenadian can be aggressive enough to want to get the vaccine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is what is going to help our country to open up.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's one. Secondly, I looked yesterday at the demonstration or the protest from the teachers and public officers. And they have a right. They have a right to protest because they have a grievance. My concern was the number of people protesting at once
Without masks.
in the middle of a pandemic when we are saying, hey, be cautious, because different strains of this virus are jumping up here and there. And we don't know what may happen. So while I understand that they have to protest and they wish to protest, I have no problem with that. What I have a serious problem with is there being now an avenue for greater disaster in the country with the pandemic.
Yeah.
Now, I thought for some time, and I remember being very cautious of my behavior, even though I demonstrated at one time too, I went on strike and all that.
Yes.
But one has to remember, how long do you do that for?
Yeah.
Who is suffering? The children are the ones who are suffering. The parents are now being hijacked, and the children are being kidnapped. And let me tell you why I say this. The parents are the ones who must purchase things so that they can finally be able to pay the VAT and so on the products that they buy. And if they have to pay VAT on the products that they buy, and then we are saying that I'm going to punish the child because you're not paying enough VAT for the government to get enough money to pay me my 4%. While the children are going to school and they are being left alone. Now, this is one way of saying, I don't care about anybody, just give me my money. You see, as teachers, I believe we have a responsibility, and a great responsibility, because the children would put more faith in the teachers, really, than in their parents. I know of parents, teachers children who would come home and say, it's so say, even if you were someone who taught the teacher.
Yes.
They don't care about what you say now, it's what sir say. So the influence on the children is very heavily determined by their teachers. Now the teachers, I don't know if there is a new code now for teachers that they think it's okay to just punish children. You may not beat the child, but if you're not teaching the child, you're punishing the child.
Yes.
And you are getting money and asking for money under false pretense.
Yeah.
Because you didn't work for it, but you want it. And I'm not saying here that they didn't work for the 4%. They negotiated and government agreed, and government said, yes, we honor it, we have to pay it. But think about the homeless person. Think about the person at the hospital.
Yes.
Government must find the money to provide the medication. Government must find the money to provide for the persons who have lost their jobs and don't know if they'll ever get it back. Government must provide for the persons who can't pay the water bill and the electricity bill. And they can't even provide the food for the children to come to school. And you saying, well, listen, that is okay. It's okay. Don't worry about them. Just worry about the 5,000 or the 1,800 of us who want more.
Well, that's just the teachers, 1,800.
That's the teachers.
Yeah.
So they find the whole public service, and I'm not saying everybody, because you have some teachers who are not going to participate.
Yes.
You have some public officers who are not going to participate in this kind of a demonstration. Yes, they want the 4%. Who don't want 4%? I wish I could have got 20%. I ain't getting nothing.
Like me.
So this is the great problem for me. What are we going to see in the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, because of the kidnapping and advantage that we are now taking on the children?
Yeah.
Children are going to school and teachers are talking with them. Children are going to school and teachers are not there. Teachers are sick, out. Children are going to school and teachers are not prepared to teach because they are fighting for 4%. Now, they are saying to me that when I send my grandchild to school, that my child is worth less than 4%.
Yeah.
Because if you have 20 children in the school and it's 4% you have to get, that's 20 children divided, 4% divided by 20 children. So you have just about 0.5% of your salary. That is the value of my child. My child, that I must find the money, buy the books, or government provide assisting books, get the food, prepare them, provide the light, provide the water for them, and to come to school. I don't have a job. I don't have a job. So I must find that still to send my child to school, and you make my child your enemy. And you say to me that there is something you call silent period.
Silent teaching.
Period for what? When you're not teaching anyway.
Yeah.
It is a sad thing. It is a sad thing. I looked on the television and I saw in the United States of America tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people line up for food bags. They line up waiting to get some contribution of some food. You have people who are out of a job, they are out of home, they're living in the cars, some of them living in the cars, and the repo man still come in and take the cars.
Yes.
We are in Grenada, a little country that don't have the resources. And the same people who are fighting for 4% receive the full salary and the holidays even when they were not working.
Yeah.
And yet these same people are standing there and telling me that they need the solidarity of the parents. My concern is, what happened to the parents? Why aren't they saying anything about the children not being taught? Why aren't they saying anything about paying teachers who are not teaching the children? In the final analysis, they are the ones who would suffer because the teachers would teach the children anyway. But those who cannot teach the children and expect the teachers to teach them, the teachers are now saying, I am not teaching the child because the tax that you pay is not enough for me to get my
4% increase.
And that is disastrous. And I don't understand how parents are sitting down. For not only now, since they took rest and relaxation, and parents just sat back. It is a cry on parents that they don't value education enough. They don't understand that they have a responsibility to make sure that the children get the quality education that the government is providing for them. The government is providing the education apart from the few students who go to private schools. Government is paying the teachers. Government provide the facilities. Now they say they don't have a chair. Government provide the chairs. When a chair is broken, they throw it in the corner. We want a new one. Government have to do that. But where government is getting the money? From the parents who are not working.
In fact, caller, I think there's a program that should start pretty soon. If they are not here as yet, they should. Where I think schools, we are expecting up to $1 million worth of furnitures for schools.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah,
that's
that
wonderful.
Coming
but
in.
But what happens when some of the furniture that we bring to the school is damaged with slight damages? And although you have wood workshops in the schools, these chairs are thrown out. I can walk down to by any school and see endless furniture that is just a little patching.
Yes.
We want new ones. Where is that money coming from? And the teachers complain, the children don't have chairs. And the teacher don't have a chair to sit on. The teacher didn't get a chair to sit on. The teacher came to teach. But still, you want to provide some form of accommodation. And yet the same teachers are turning around. On lunchtime, they said they're demonstrating. Where has that ever happened in this world? I don't know. Because your lunchtime is time for you to make sure that the children eat with a certain etiquette and make sure that you are present and you are there in the case of any problem and so on, but you're demonstrating. So teachers have lost that whole value and the morals of being a teacher. You see, I'm passionate about it because I taught for many years.
Understood.
I taught for many years. And the greatest thing that you can see is a child who came in and leave you a better person.
Absolutely.
But if you're going to take my child, bring them into the school, don't teach them, don't talk to them, and every chance you get, you run away to demonstrate. What are you saying to my child? And parents are sitting there and saying nothing. Right now, I'll tell you, my gripe is not with the teachers that are demonstrating, My gripe is with the parents who are saying nothing.
Nothing.
If you say nothing, it means that you agree that your child does not worth more than 4%.
Get it. I get it.
I'm passionate about that. I'm passionate about that. Because tomorrow, the child somehow or the other did well in exams. The teachers are saying, you see how hard we work? Well, the child would have passed anyway. Because you didn't teach the child. You were not there. And your teaching the child is not to do maths, and not to do history, and not to do English. Your teaching the child is to make the child a person that is open and ready to learn. Not what you teach them, because you know nothing as far as the world is concerned.
Yeah.
You have to provide the child with the avenue to want to learn. But when you yourself not learning that the child is important and more important to you than 4%, then we're in trouble. Our Grenadian teachers need to stop. Yes, demonstrate. Yes, protest. But don't punish my child. Because I am paying you with the 10 cents I pay on every time I buy something and I pay the VAT. I am paying you with the 7% that I pay for the VAT. I am paying you when I pay my personal income tax. I don't have money to pay personal income tax.
You don't have money to pay, or you're not supposed to pay because
when
you
I
don't
pay
have
for my little plan.
And your driver's license and
all those things.
Yes.
When I pay for all of those things, that is what is paying you. And teachers don't understand this. And not that they don't understand. They don't care. All they see in front of their eyes is $4 in every $100 that they get.
Yes.
So you work for $1,000 and you get $40 more for the month.
Yes.
And you say to me that my child is worth less than $40? Then what were you worth in slavery? Why are you making my child a slave?
Yeah.
And I don't understand parents. I don't understand how parents are going to sit back. Why? They're going to sit back because they know that the teacher is going to victimize the child? Then take on the teacher when they victimize the child. Take them on. They're not there to victimize the child. They are servants of the nation, and they are supposed to serve my child and see my child as if it's theirs.
Yeah.
So I don't usually call. I don't ever call the radio station.
But we can feel the passion in the way you spoke.
I was home doing something, and I opened and I heard your discourse and so on. And I said, no. Let me say on two things. Take your vaccine. Make sure you find out. Get people to go along, because when they open the package, it's 10 per package.
Yes.
So go to get your vaccine, because getting the vaccine means that we're going to create, I think the term is herd immunity.
Herd immunity.
And then we would be able to open the country some more, and people would be able to, the economy would start to rise up.
Yes.
And things.
And more 4% will come.
More than 4% would come.
So even the teachers who are demonstrating for the 4% should go and take the vaccine before they start to demonstrate.
Make sure they get the vaccine.
Yes.
Make sure they get the vaccine. And just to close up, I was listening last night to the news, and I heard the former Prime Minister of Grenada speaking. And I wonder if it was an intelligent person, or I hate to say that, but I wonder if it was an intelligent person, a rational person that was speaking. Because you heard about government trying to keep the airport open, trying to make sure that the airport don't close. One of the means of the economic facility, the economic opportunities that would come via the opening of the airport for people to come and you collect money for the airport and for your taxis and so on. I'm saying they should have paid the teachers
let the airport close.
And I said, what a man. How could one think like that and say that you're a politician? You don't have to politic everything. You don't have to make everything a political issue.
But to be a politician, you have to be sensible as well.
You have to be sensible. You have to be rational.
Yes.
I would have not answered the question. It was better if the question wasn't answered than the answer I heard. And still saying that the government of Grenada, and I'm not here for politics, but the government of Grenada is destroying institutions. You're destroying institutions. You're building new schools. You're providing now $1 million of what? You're providing so much to make sure that education continues even in the pandemic, where developed countries cannot do it. In the United States of America, you have children who cannot get any internet service, even to use a computer. They don't have it. Grenada, all over the place you have it. And we're not proud of our country. The world is saying Grenada is number one.
Yep.
The world is saying Grenada in the Caribbean is number one. And all you're talking about is 4%.
Yeah.
But again, you heard the church say anything?
No.
The church bodies?
Institutions that are supposed to come out and speak out, they only speak out on certain issues. And other issues, you see, the issue of morality, right and wrong, again, is left to the interpretation of the individual.
Yeah,
we don't have enough standards.
But a lot of the individual are people who go to church on a Sunday, go to church on a Saturday, shout and jump and say praise the Lord and how safe they are, and yet they're destroying the young people.
Yes.
It is better you put a millstone around your neck than you lead any one of these little ones astray.
Yes.
And that is what is taking place. So I want to thank you very much.
We want to thank you too for your contribution. I think it was well said, and we do appreciate. And you said you seldom ever call, but we do hope that we will will raise issues on this program in the future that would cause you to want to call and express yourself. We do appreciate. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You don't have to do much worrying, you know. Most times I want to call, but it's just my nature. I say, let me leave it alone. But Ms. Duncan, don't worry. And because you are there and Mr. Bola is there, I'll call again.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate that.
We do appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of today.
Yours too.
Great.
All right.
You know, let's just touch. After that caller, I mean, I don't know that we can say very much. I mean, he has brought a different perspective. He has taken the whole issue from a different angle that we have not touched yet at all.
Yeah.
From the angle that you're punishing the children and you're punishing the parents. Whose tax dollar is what is paying you up to today. Yeah. But it was interesting while the caller was there. Someone put something on one of the people, because there are a lot of people on the live who often send their comments. And the question was, isn't it the same president, Marvin Handel, who was anti and fighting with the ministry about the safety and security of teachers in this pandemic time when they were thinking about reopening and going back to school? Today, you see him leading mass demonstration with the same teachers and others. He himself not wearing a mask and none of them wearing a mask. No social distancing. What double standard? And it is someone put that out on the live, and we thank you for that, because that person is a very observant person, and it tells us that sometimes when we open our mouths to its width, saying all kinds of things, that people listen and people remember, and they will remind us when the time is right. You are the same man who was saying to the ministry, you can't do that. You can't reopen schools. You can't bring back all the children in the school. You care and you worry about the safety of your teachers. You worry about the safety and security in a pandemic time. We still have the pandemic ongoing.
Absolutely.
You will not take the opportunity to encourage them, your same teachers, to get vaccinated to protect themselves and their family. You're not doing that. You say, let's demonstrate. And you have them out in large numbers, in vast amount, not wearing a mask, and you're not even wearing one by example. Double standard in its highest degree.
How unfortunate. There's a call on the line. We'll take this last call, but caller, you have to be quick because we are very pressed for time.
Certainly.
Very good. I will be short.
Good
I
morning.
want to make a contribution.
Thank you.
That previous caller is a professor. He said it all.
Yes.
But one other point that I really want to make, I think all they need, the Prime Minister needs to step aside and call in Putin and let you rule Grenada for 1 week, and everybody will know what time it is. Thank you.
You have a blessed day. I
just want to get through some of the comments on the live video because there are quite a few.
So we can't take any more calls. We are winding down, so just get to some of the comments.
Someone is saying people have to be careful and express love, one for another and love for country. Life is too short for this sort of behavior. Very sad. Someone else is saying, you speak a book, caller. I hope the parents are listening and take a stand on their children's future. Someone else is saying, couldn't bet. Persons who lost loved ones during the COVID wish there was a vaccine then to save their lives. And someone else is saying double standard. And it definitely is just that. Someone is saying on the WhatsApp as well, trying to get through as many of them before the time is upon us. He said to that caller, I will shake your big toe.
What? Well, they probably knows the caller. Why shake the big toe?
He's saying, and yet there is an idiot on the radio, on a radio program, begging for $15,000 to cut the Prime Minister and stage a protest. Not only Andal, but Brian Grimes came in hot and sweaty with his agenda. And you know, the caller made a very important point, Mr. Bola. And I want to just stress on that as my last point for the day. And I've made it before. That as parents, it is important for us to understand that at the end of this month, which is March, teachers will receive a full salary with inclusive of the 4% increase that they received in January of 2020.
Well, that's what the salary is now.
Right, that's what it is now. We are going out there, we are paying our taxes, we are contributing to revenue collection to ensure, and
revenue
do this
generation. Yes,
to ensure, we do this to ensure not just better education for our children, but a better life for them growing up in Grenada. And it is rather unfortunate to hear the unions and the teachers begging with parents to side with them when some of us are unable to meet just the basic needs of our children, but still make the sacrifice to ensure that they go to school, only to go to school and be meted out this kind of behavior and this kind of treatment. And it is rather unfortunate that for someone who is receiving a full salary at the end of the month would be so inconsiderate as to ask a parent who probably has not worked since March of 2020 to support them in getting more money. Very, very unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, Ms. Duncan. I like the way you're ending, but it is not unreasonable to ask for support. That's what I would say. And it is not because I'm against you. I don't have a difficulty with the teachers asking me to support them or the public servants to get their 4%. But I have a difficulty in their unreasonableness in understanding the time we are in, the economic crisis that we are faced with, what the world is faced with. And to pretend as educated, academically brilliant people that they don't have a clue of what is happening. That is my greatest disagreement with them. I disagree with them for wanting to get the money and asking for it and pleading and using all different techniques. But don't suffer the children and don't pretend that you don't understand what is happening presently. You know the situation. You know there are people, thousands of people in this little island here that has not had a day work since March in the closed down when we just had our first COVID case. You know that there are people suffering. They live in your neighborhood. They're next door to you. You help them say, oh God, things are hard. I could imagine what you're going through. And now that the government is trying to put something in place to give them a little assistance, you say, forget them and give me my 4%. I wish everyone a very good day today. I thank you for having joined us on this program. We are out of time for anything more for today. But tomorrow, God's willing, HARDTALK will be back. I'll be absent though. But, there will be a guest, a very special guest, and I think they will be talking more health and vaccination, and so that's all I can hint you. But do enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks to everyone who made a contribution, whether you called, whether you sent a comment, whatever you did, a WhatsApp or so, we appreciate that. And for those who have tried and were unable to get through with the call, do not give up. Try again another time. One of these days, you may be fortunate. Thank you.
All right, guys, we've come to the end of our program for today. And as we say here every day, in whatever you do and whatever you say, be safe and be secure. We always want to be talking with you. We don't ever want to be talking about you. So please do enjoy the remainder of your day and stay tuned for the National Report. Have a wonderful day, guys.
The impact on our country.
Decide now to come together and to get a small loan so at least all of us could start with future off.
Handing over of the boat to some young fishermen is not just symbolic, but it has significant socioeconomic impact for the individuals who are receiving the boat, but also for the community. St. Mark is developing as a significant contributor in the fishing industry. And so I'm very happy today that there are 5 young fishermen who have been awarded this soft loan, and they have embraced it and they're ready to go out. I'm happy to see that. It makes a lot of difference in their individual lives, in the lives of their family, and also for our community. And the impact on our country is significant as well.
And I decide now I wanted to go on my own because we have family to take care of, house to build, and other things to do.
To live here every day, mostly every day, and go in Grenville. And I take 3 bus, sometimes you take a little more. Every day you have to do this, but we're thankful, we're grateful for it.
There's a little process that sometimes people find is a bit tedious, but in a loan there are certain requirements that have to be fulfilled. And once you meet those requirements, then you get the loan.
Yeah, well, I will tell them work hard and see how they will get you with the same loan to start off, like how we get it to start off.
And recently, I think over 20 young men from this very parish were trained in captaincy of a boat and so on. So all of these are coming nicely together, and the Ministry of Fisheries would have played their role as well in terms of encouraging young people to get into this industry. It's a great industry. We're grateful to those who have gone before, and we are really blessed to see young men coming in now and taking on that.
The Small Business Development Fund, supporting small businesses.
$9,701 people received first dose of AstraZeneca vaccine since Grenada began its public vaccination program. Details to this story and more in the National Report. With the details to the news for Tuesday, March 23rd, I am Chrisanne Mitchell. Grenada has vaccinated 9,701 people as of Tuesday, March 23rd, but Health Minister Honorable Nicola Steele is concerned that the country is being left behind by its OECS neighbors, whose vaccination numbers are significantly higher. During the government's weekly post-cabinet press briefing on Tuesday, Minister Steele said Grenada's total translates to roughly 1,800 vaccinations per week, and at that rate, it may be another 9 months before the country is at a national level that allows any form of easement. Instead of being a difficult 9-month journey, he is hoping we can get to the optimal level within at least 10 weeks.
Barbados has vaccinated 61,000. Dominica has vaccinated 13,000. Antigua has vaccinated 25,000. St. Lucia has vaccinated 20,000. Colleagues, we are being left behind by our OECS brothers and sisters, and we will see them enjoy a better life faster. We will see them open up to tourism. We will see them having their carnivals. We will see them being able to circulate without having to wear masks. We will see them having little or no limitations on social gatherings, etc., because they would have gotten to the optimal level of vaccination, and we would have been delaying.
Continuing the news, over on the sister isle of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, 562 people have received the first dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine being administered at the Princess Royal Hospital and Lester Clinic in Carriacou and the Petit Martinique Health Center. However, there is concern that people of the younger age brackets are not coming forward to be inoculated. District Medical Officer for Carriacou and Petite Martinique, Dr. Tyrone Davis, is appealing to residents to educate themselves on benefits of getting vaccinated. Dr. Davis says he is aware that many people may have reservations because of the information that is peddled on social media. But he says they have a personal responsibility to themselves to get their information from authentic websites.
If you need information, you need to seek or to read or to look at credible websites such as WHO, PAHO, Ministry of Health, Grenada, to get your information, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. We know that this case is about blood clots that was talked about a few weeks ago. The WHO, the World Health Organization, and the European Medical Agency, they all came out and said that the vaccine is safe and effective. And blood clots that are seen in vaccinated people is even less than those that are not vaccinated. You know, so really and truly, it doesn't seem that the vaccine increases your chance of having blood clots.
As part of the World Bank-funded Disaster Vulnerability Reduction Project, several schools across the nation will receive new furniture worth US $1 million beginning today, March 23rd. Details in this report by Annette Moore.
These are things that are really needed to have schools up and running in a much more efficient manner.
I would love to thank the Ministry of Education for this gesture. It's been a long time coming, and we do really appreciate this furniture today. Thank you very much.
Acting Chief Education Officer Angela Finley said this shipment of furniture represents one of 9 batches to arrive within the next few weeks. She detailed what this first shipment included.
We have over 480 size 18 chairs, which is suitable for students at the grade 5, 6 and secondary school level. 400 desks and 200 chairs suitable for the junior level. So today we are targeting the schools that were challenged to open back to full capacity because of furniture.
Finley says these will be for use by both students and teachers, and that filing cabinets will also be provided.
This procurement, I must say, it is really commendable given the times we are in, where there is a need to allocate so much funds just about so many things to do with the impact of COVID-19. Schools are challenged because of the type of furniture which was in schools before. Some of them are challenged to open up because they had double desks. Now a double desk can only sit one child. So in those schools we have to move quickly to get furniture in. Grenville Secondary School, the Grenada Boys Secondary School are among those that are slated to receive furniture from this container.
The first recipient of furniture from this project is the Grenville Secondary School. Principal Ronald Etienne outlined the current issues faced by the school.
For some time we've been having a serious challenge with furniture, lack of furniture, broken furniture. We had classes where there were less than 25% seating for students. Okay, so in that we had to rotate classes, so we couldn't have every form level in on every day because of the lack of furniture.
Etienne says the receipt of furniture today will solve many of the current problems.
Today we are in receipt of 168 senior chairs and 106 senior tables, and this would alleviate a lot of problems that we're currently having. We will be able to accommodate more students at the school on a daily basis. We will be able to bring in more form levels on a weekly basis. Currently we have to juggle Form 1s and 2s. Some week they get 1 day, some weeks they get 2 days. So now we can be a little bit more regularized and have more students on site, all right, which would alleviate a lot of the challenges the students been having themselves, because you know in some communities where there's poor electricity supply, lack of internet, yeah, so we can have them on site to have more learning take place.
The distribution of furniture from this shipment will continue this week to various schools island-wide. For the National Report, I'm Annette Moore.
Thank you, Annette. This is the National Report. More news after the break.
Protect yourself and our community from COVID-19. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. If soap and water are not available, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer with at least 70% alcohol. Use a tissue when blowing your nose, sneezing, or coughing. Immediately discard the tissue properly and wash or sanitize your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Let's do our part to ensure that each and every Grenadian remains healthy. To stay up to date, visit the Government of Grenada's webpage or the Ministry of Health's Facebook page. For more information, contact the Ministry of Health's hotline by calling 53-VIRUS. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by the Ministry of Health.
Welcome back. The Chinese embassy in Grenada says helping to develop this country's education sector continues to be one of its main priorities. New Chinese ambassador Wei Hongxian made a donation to the Westerhall Secondary and St. David's Catholic Secondary Schools on Tuesday. At the Westerhall Secondary School, 50 chairs and tables, bookshelves, and assortments of books were presented.
Education is the foundation of national development in the long run. Investment in education means a lot, since education plays a very significant role in any nation and society. China and Grenada have been enjoying a very good and stable friendly relations since 2005, when the two countries resumed the diplomatic ties. And China attaches great importance to and cherishes this friendship. The practical cooperation between our two countries falls into multiple areas, among which education stands out as a significant and fruitful one.
Minister for Foreign Affairs and Parliamentary Representative for St. David's, Honorable Oliver Joseph, commended the Chinese government for showing passionate interest in Grenada's educational development.
Ambassador, on behalf of the government and people of Grenada, we want to express our deep appreciation to your government and people for this kind gesture. This furniture that you're sitting on here is meant to enhance the facilities. And we are hoping that in this comfortable environment, it will enhance your learning. And I want to repeat one thing that the ambassador said. I would like to see some of the students here take the opportunity to travel to university in China to further your education. Because we have excellent relations with the People's Republic of China and Grenada over the years. And the embassy in Grenada have always come to our assistance.
Head of the Social Sciences Department at the Westerhall Secondary School, Carl Aban, says the donation will positively impact learning and teaching. We will bring details of Tuesday's presentation ceremony at the St. David's Catholic Secondary School in Wednesday's newscast. And finally in the news, he prefers to use the term transition instead of resignation, but Acting Chief Medical Officer Dr. Francis Martin says while he has taken the decision to transition to clinical practice, his plan is to continue service to the country that has made him what he is today. During the government's weekly post-cabinet press briefing on Tuesday, Dr. Martin thanked the public for its outpouring of support since the news broke of his decision. He has asked the Honorable Minister for Health that he is not kept far away from the Ministry of Health and public health response matters they oversee.
I am eternally committed to the COVID response. I am continuing my work. I have done some vaccination programs and educational sessions. I have a few more already planned for the next coming weeks. I'm going to continue doing that. And all of the major issues that changes the landscape of how we do universal coverage and national health insurance is critical for me as far as I am concerned. So I've asked the minister to allow me to be part of that.
That story has ended the National Report for today, March 23rd, 2021. On behalf of the entire news and production team here at the Government Information Service, I am Chrisanne Mitchell, saying thank you for joining us.